Hello guys, this is Cello the Fashion Fairy. If you're still having issues drafting your basic bodice pattern the professional way, are you still having issues with gaping necklines? This video is definitely for you. You may want to watch it till the end so that you can avoid all those messy necklines and ill-fitting bodice. Keep watching. What's up guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Cello the Fashion Fairy. If you're stopping by for the first time, thank you. Please consider joining the DIY fam by clicking on the subscribe button, and don't forget to click on the notification bell to get notified whenever I have a new tutorial. On this channel we post new videos twice a week, and we do pattern drafting, we share fashion tips and tricks, and we also help you grow your fashion business and give you tips on how to create amazing styles. Keep watching and see you in my tutorial. Here are the things that I'll be needing to draft this basic bodice pattern. You have my pattern master, my scissors, my eraser, pencil, marker pen, and of course the chairman of this occasion, my tape roll. Now I have a size chart that I've always worked with. This is it, and you will have to know your size and use whatever measurement that falls under your size to derive your measurements. As you can see me do mine. I've done mine already and I have my measurements ready to work with. Now I'm going to mark my nape to waist measurement. That's your back length measurement. That's the measurement I am trying to mark here. I'm going to turn my tape and I'm going to mark 42 cm because that's the measurement of my back, as you can see. So I'm getting my back length, which is also known as your nape to waist measurement. Once I get this measurement, I'm going to mark that across. Sorry you can't see this guys, my camera cut it off, but you will see it eventually. Oh yeah, here it goes. So I've marked the 42 cm down, and I'm going to just measure it across board to make sure I have a straight line. This is very important when you're drafting a pattern. You want to make sure that you have a perfect straight line. It is called construction lines. You want to make sure your lines are straight. So please don't be scared to measure or ashamed to measure over and over again to make sure you have perfect lines. So here is my total bust measurement and here is half of it, and this is what I will be getting, and I'm going to be adding 1 inch and 2 inches if you're a plus size. So I'm getting half of my bust measurement and I added 1 inch to it. This is me adding 1 inch to it. This will serve as ease when you are working with your bodice. You don't want it to be too tight, so you're allowed to put some ease so that you move freely in your dress. So I've marked half of my bust measurement plus 1 inch of ease, and I am drawing a line to join it from top to bottom, forming a box. After getting this box, you would want to divide the box into 2 equal halves. This is me trying to get the middle points of it, and I am going to divide it into 2 equal parts. One is going to be my front block and the other one is going to be my back block. So this is me getting the same measurement I got down there, and I am marking it up there to make sure I have a perfect straight line, guys. Beautiful. This is how to do it. Make sure you have a straight line every time. So here I noticed the marker pen was not writing very well, so I had to go and bring a better one. So this is how much I love you guys. This is how much I want you to really understand what I am doing and see what I am doing more clearly. Now that you are seeing the lines more clearly, I'm going to label my back block and I am going to label my front block.
So in plotting my neckline, is very good to notice that my front and back necklines are not the same measurements. My front is smaller than my back. My back is wider. So I have 7.9 cm for my back, while I have 6.9 cm for my front. If you've been struggling with this is the reason why your neckline gapes. The front should always be smaller than the back. This way it will sit pretty on you. From here I'm measuring 1.5 cm down. I'm trying to get my back neckline. I'm going to use my curve ruler and I am going to connect it with a beautiful curve. Remember, these are just basic measurements. You can alter the neckline however you choose to. I'm going to measure from this point another 1.5 cm downwards, and this is going to help me get a construction line for my shoulder line. 1.5 cm down. I'm just trying to measure what I have in total so that I make sure I have a straight line. These are my trick, guys. So now that I have a perfect straight line, I'm going to get my shoulder measurement, which is 12.5 cm. I measured it and the line wasn't up to, so I extended it. So I'm measuring 12.5 cm, making sure that it touches the line, and I am going to rule across to touch my neck line. Now I have my shoulder point, and I am going to mark my arm side depth from there. Arm side depth is 21.4 cm. This is what I'm measuring down from that shoulder point. Remember that this is a fitted bodice. If you want it to have more room, you can add 2 cm or 1 cm as you may wish. I'm measuring the same thing across board. Like I said, measuring from top to where it stops, so that I make sure I have a straight line. I'm going to rule that across my 2 blocks, and this will be my chest line. So in order to make sure I have a perfect straight line, once again I'm going to measure whatever it is I have there, and I'm measuring it here as well, marking that point, and I'm going to rule a straight line, a vertical line running from that shoulder point down to the chest line. This will be a construction line for my armhole. I'm getting half of it. I'm making a mark right there, and on this line I'm just going to mark 1.5 cm diagonally, 90 degrees, sorry, angle. Yep. So on this line I'm just going to draw it out. On this line I'm going to put in my back width measurement. My back width measurement, half of it, that's what I'm going to put in. For me it is 17.7 cm. So when you mark that, you will want to connect it with a curve. So from your shoulder point, you're going to mark it to your back width line, and you're going to mark it to your underarm point. You can tilt the curve as much as you need, just to make sure you get all the points correctly. This is me trying to make sure I get a perfect curve for my armhole. Now that I've gotten something that is I'm a bit comfortable with, I've decided to scratch the other line. So I'll work with this new one. So I'm measuring exactly what I have here, and I am dividing that by 2. This will help me get my dart line for my back block. I'm measuring what I have up there, and I'm going to measure the same thing on my waistline. Sorry, my camera cut this off. I'm going to draw a straight line to meet my waistline. And on this line, I will be marking my darts. I marked 1.5 cm on both sides and I connected my dart lines. You're going to see it clearly. Okay, and I'm done with my back block. Over to the front block. Now remember I said that the neckline of the front is different from that of the back. That's what I'm trying to re-emphasize at this point. So I'm going to try to calculate the roundness of my curve. You don't just draw in a line blindly. You want to construct it in such a way that it will lay flat. So I'm doing the 6.9 cm, which is my front neck width, and I'm adding 1/4 inch to it, or 5 mm to it. This is what I'll be using to plot on a diagonal line, 90-degree angle. And then for the vertical line, I am doing 6.9 cm, which is my front neck width, plus 1.5 cm. So I'm going to mark that vertically. And the 6.9 cm plus 5 mm or 1/4, I am going to mark on a 90-degree angle, as you will see me do. So I'm going to do this first. Remember I said I'm going to mark it on a 90-degree angle. So I'm measuring whatever I have, which is 6.9 cm plus 5 mm or 1/4. So this is me marking it right here. I'm going to use a line to connect both points. Also, vertically from that point, I am going to mark 6.9 cm, which is my front neck width, plus 1.5 cm. So I'm going to measure that right here. This is the 6.9 and this is me adding the 1.5 cm. So I'm going to use my curve ruler to connect the 3 points together. Remember I said you can tilt it as much as you can to get a perfect curve. So we are drawn with the front neckline. Over to the shoulder line. So extend this line, measure whatever you have here, mark it there, and extend that line. This will help you form your shoulder curve for your front. So we are going to mark the shoulder measurement plus 4 cm, and this is our dart allowance. And remember I said my shoulder measurement is 12.5 cm, and I'm going to add my 4 cm dart, which has given me 16.5 cm. This is what I'm going to be placing from my neck width to this line that I just ruled across. So I'm measuring 6.5 cm, which is my neck, my shoulder measurement plus 4 cm dart. So now that I have done this, I'm going to measure 3 cm down. This will be my true bust line. 3 cm down. So next thing is to get the half of the measurement from this point to my chest line. I'm going to get half of that, and that's what I'm doing right now. So once I have it, I measure the same thing I have there to make sure I have a straight line, and rule that across. And on this line, I'm going to be measuring half of my chest measurement plus 2 cm. This 2 cm is the dart that will be taken off on that point. So you're doing half of your chest measurement plus 2 cm of the dart that will be taken off on that line. So that's what I'm measuring, my half of my chest measurement, and I am adding the 2 cm that will be taken away as that on that line. So I'm getting the measurement on that line, and I am going to mark the same measurement on my chest line. With my ruler, I'm going to connect both lines together. Getting half of that measurement will give me a construction line for my front dart. And on this point, I'm going to do exactly what I did on the back. I'm adding 1.5 cm and I'm marking it on a 90-degree angle, and I'm connecting the 3 points together. So I'm connecting from the shoulder point down to my half chest, and I'm connecting it to that 1.5 cm and then to my underarm point. You don't have to do it once, you can do it like I did, one after the other, and any sharp points you encounter, you'll have to smoothen that out. So I'm going to get the half of my shoulder line so that I can get a construction line for my dart. And I'm going to connect this to my bust point. Remember that we had earlier marked our chest measurement, half of our chest measurement on this line, so that's the same point that I marked on the true bust line. So I'm connecting it straight to the shoulder line. The same measurement I got here, I'm going to still place it on my waistline to get my waist dart line. So this will serve as my construction line for the darts. Here I'm going to mark 1.5 cm on both sides of the line, as you see me do, and I'm connecting it straight to the bust point. Remember, on the shoulder we added 4 extra cm, so this means 2 cm on each side of the dart line. So I'm marking 2 cm here, and I'm marking another 2 cm there, and I'm going to connect everything straight to the bust point. We're almost done with our front block. So on this line here, we're going to measure 1.5 cm on both sides, 1.5 cm on this side and another 1.5 cm on the other side. We're connecting it straight to our underarm point for the waist shaping. Now this could be more if you want it a bit firmer, but just remember to cross-check your measurements on your waist to make sure you have what you need. So on this side, on my center back, I'm going to mark ½ inch. This will help me eliminate any back bulge on my zipper line. I don't like that bulge at all, so I always like to remove it on my pattern. So here is me marking all the sides of the pattern that I'm going to cut off. The darts, the sides. I'm going to cut all these shaded parts out, and the ones that I don't cut out, I am going to take them in with a seam, especially my waist darts. So this is me trying to cross-check all my measurements, my shoulder measurements, to make sure it matches the one on the back. Make sure you cross-check your waist as well. If you still need to do more waist shaping, you can make it firmer by removing more inches from the sides. So here we have our bodice block. Looks perfect, doesn't it?